Hello and welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair. Today's show is that VidBlaster guy. You've come to the right spot. It's going to be a great day. Oh my goodness. And I didn't get all hooked up like I was supposed to ahead of time. Forgive me. Pretend like you don't see this. Just turn your head the other way and pretend like you don't see that guy on the screen doing things that he was supposed to have done 5 minutes ago before he came on air. Somebody asked me a little while ago, said, well, why do you use those headphones? Well, I use them because I want to hear my own volume level so that I don't blow you guys out, or so that I don't talk so softly that you can't hear me. So there's a little backstory on that one. Hey, the purpose of this show is to prove the case that one guy with one PC can do an awesome broadcast. And we are getting there. Since we started in July of 2012 with one guy and one PC and an awful broadcast, we have made leaps and bounds of progress. And thanks to all sorts of folks from all over the world that have reached out. Whoops, excuse me. I've got myself going other places there. That have reached out and provided us with all sorts of help with audio and video and lower thirds and graphics. And it's really been a treat. It's really been a treat to see to make lots of good friends over the internet. That's a lot of fun. But, you know, the thing with internet broadcasting is that if you've got a passion for something, I bet there are 100 or 100,000 people out there that share your passion. And that a community can be formed through this medium, this new internet broadcasting, this video podcasting, whatever we're going to call it. I'm not sure that we really have kind of focused in on one name yet. But communities can form around this stuff, and people that have common interests can gather together. And the fact that you're watching this means that you have an interest in this video broadcasting over the internet. It's really pretty cool. And VidBlaster is a great way to make it happen. I've been using VidBlaster since 2009. Actually, probably before that. It was probably about 2009. And February 2009, and just, took to it like a duck to water. I didn't find out till later that VidBlaster is probably the easiest video production software to learn. And that's because of its modular approach, where every function has a module. And if you have a camera, you have a module for it. If you want to play a video, it goes in a module. If you want to show a still picture, it goes in a module. If you want to have a lower third, like this one, it goes in a module. And you can shift them around. It's like Legos, like building blocks. You can move the modules wherever you want to on the screen. And it's really cool stuff. You can download a free trial version from the VidBlaster website, vidblaster.com. Now, I'm a reseller for VidBlaster. I am not VidBlaster. I'm a reseller for VidBlaster. I'm in the U.S., but we do business all over the world. And if you'd like to buy VidBlaster, you can buy it from me directly. This is the full disclosure part of the program here. Sorry about the ad, but you need to know. You can go to my website, that VidBlaster guy, and buy it straight there. Or for the next week between today, which is October 8th, and next week, which is October 15th, and I'll tell you why that date is important in just a second. In the next 7 days, you can have a 10% discount on VidBlaster. You'll need to shoot me an email directly, because this is a personal discount. So it's going to be tom@thatvidblasterguy.com, and you can get a 10% discount. The home version is $195 US. The Pro version, $495, the Studio version, $995, and the Broadcast version, $1995. Or if you want to upgrade, we can do the same 10% deal. So if you're interested, now is a great time. Next 7 days between now and next Wednesday, October 15th. Now, October 15th is important, and you'll probably want to make a note on this if it's not already passed. I do want to welcome the folks that are watching us on YouTube, so you may be watching this after October 15th, 2014, because October 15th, 2014 is our great VidBlaster Roundtable, and that will be on Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern, which is 8 o'clock in the United Kingdom, which is 5 a.m. Thursday in Melbourne, Australia. But we've got VidBlaster pro users from literally all over the world that are going to join us and talk about VidBlaster, what they're doing with it, how they discovered it, what they like, what they don't like, and what they see in the future for VidBlaster. It's really going to be an exciting show. I can't wait for it. That's next week, a week from today, live at 3 o'clock Eastern. We'll be doing a chat as normal, so if you're there live and you want to join in the chat, you've got some questions for the guys on the round table, you can do that. Or if you want to send questions in advance, you're welcome to shoot them to me, Tom at thatvidblasterguy.com, and we can see if they're appropriate for going in with our experts. The list is really pretty strong. We've got Alan Bunt from Wisconsin, Jim Moline from South Carolina, Amnon Nissan from North Carolina, John Duvall. I think John's generally here in chat. I don't see him in right now. I think John's in Texas. Andrew Seaburn from Melbourne, Jan Akala and Martin Kay from Europe. So it's going to be a really great show. And I've invited some other folks, and of course some of those guys might not be able to attend at the last minute. So there's no guarantee. If you're showing up just to see that superstar, Martin Kay from Manchester, then if he's not there, don't blame me. He probably had something more important he had to do. Anyway, it's going to be a great show. We'll probably use a Google Hangout as the method that we bring everybody together, and then we'll take that Hangout and we'll rebroadcast that through VidBlaster. And then I think what we'll probably do too is I'm not sure. I'll have to think about that one. I'll have to think through on that one. I want the guys to get a return feed. Obviously, they've got the return feed of the audio, or I guess that would be my audio. Well, anyway, we'll think that one through. That'll be fun, and we'll test it and hopefully have any bugs worked out well in advance. So that's next Wednesday, October 15th, 3 o'clock Eastern in the U.S. and appropriate times elsewhere. Other things that are kind of news and kind of interesting, as a VidBlaster reseller, I get all sorts of inquiries, and I had 2 inquiries this week that were just so striking in their contrast that I wanted to share them with you. The first was from a mom, and I thought this could be my own story, whose son plays soccer. And she really would like to help the school get the soccer games on the internet so grandparents and aunts and uncles can watch. And that's kind of the classic beginning, how we get started with this. The classic need is to take something that somebody's kid is doing, whether it's a recital or a sports event or whatever it might be, and make it so that people that can't otherwise be there can be there. I mean, this is the perfect medium for that. And VidBlaster is the perfect product for that. And so we were, corresponding back and forth on, what the PC would need to be and what the camera would need to be. And, could she start with the VidBlaster Home Edition? And she could, and she has. And, it just was very gratifying to kind of help her proceed forward with her passion, which was to put her son's soccer on TV, so that her parents and, of course, the other kids' parents, grandparents, whatever, could watch too. And so it's really, really exciting to see what we're doing reach down to the us regular folk. That's how I got started in it. Literally was broadcasting soccer. And the other correspondence and conversations that I've had this week with a major corporation. They have offices all over the world. They want to broadcast what they're doing from headquarters. Actually, they want to broadcast what's going on from headquarters, but they want to do that remotely and then they want to broadcast it to all their offices all over the world. And VidBlaster is perfect for that. So you've got both ends of the spectrum. You've got the mom with the passion, and then you've got the businessman who has a need that he wants to fill. And he wants to be able to do, he wants to be able to do green screen and lower thirds and take remote cameras and all sorts of things like that. And VidBlaster was designed to do both those things. What a really cool piece of software. Now, if you're watching for the first time, there are 4 editions. There's the home version, and then it goes all the way up to the broadcast edition. And they have different powers depending on the price, and the powers are in the modules. The more modules you got, the more power you have. And there's some modules that are kind of limited to the upper echelon of the editions. You can get all that at vidblaster.com. Or if you've got questions about it, you can shoot me a note at tom@thatvidblasterguy.com. Let's see. I think we're running through our material for today faster than I anticipated. VidBlaster just released a new beta version last week, version 3.30. And somebody asked me in an email day before yesterday, Tom, I don't see that on the VidBlaster website. All I see is the latest release version, 3.17. And I realized, there are some folks that are quite willing to try out a beta when they're trying out something because they want to try out the latest, greatest features. And then there are other folks that say, hey, I'm really not interested in something that's not ready for prime time. I want something that's ready to go right now. And that's a great, both of those are very acceptable and great ways of thinking about it. I'm the category that wants the latest, greatest, even though some parts of it may not be ready for prime time. But I've been doing it long enough to know kind of how to work around problems when they come up. Somebody that's starting for the first time may not be able to tell, is it just a beta problem? Is it a bug in a beta, or is it something that I'm doing wrong? I just don't know enough to know. And so I would encourage you, if you're thinking about downloading the trial edition, and you're not, and this is kind of a new venture for you, go to vidblaster.com and download the trial edition there, because that's the latest release version. It should be pretty bug-free. But if you've been around the block a few times with internet broadcasting, and maybe you've used some of VidBlaster's competitors and you'd like to give VidBlaster a try, I encourage you, live dangerously and try out the latest beta, version 3.30. You can get that from the VidBlaster forum. And that's also where you can get support and help and chat with other VidBlaster users. It's forum.vidblaster.com, and then there's a section there called Downloads. And you can download all the version 3 downloads, but 3.30 is the latest, greatest. If you have an older version of VidBlaster, and it's a licensed version 1 or version 2, and you want to upgrade, you can download version 3.30, and when you do that, it'll revert to the trial version. And so you'll have to input what they call a product key, and you can get the product key from VidBlaster, or you can get it from me. And if you get it this week, the next 10 days, it's a 10% discount on that. But version 3.30. Oh, and one other thing about, and this is a recent change in VidBlaster. If you've said, oh yeah, I want to download version 3.30 because I want to see all the new beta features, and you get there and you go to modules and you look at all the list of modules, and there are none of these cool modules that we talk about on the list. That's because they've been hidden, probably to keep folks that are just starting out for the first time from getting involved with something that's still in beta and may have some bugs in it. It's kind of self-protection in that sense. And so in order to reveal these secret, they're not really secret, but to reveal these hidden beta features, there's a combination of keystrokes that you want to use in order to do that. And it's really simple. It's holding down the. I was looking down on the keyboard to make sure I got the right ones. It's holding down the Control key and the Shift key, and then using the mouse to click on the module link in the top left corner of the screen. And when you do that and then scroll over to add a module, it'll show up the betas. The same thing is true if you want to use the playout controller, which is it's not really a module. It's sort of like a super module, but it can dock anywhere. I mean, it can go outside of VidBlaster's screen, and that's on the View menu. So you would hold down the Shift and the Control and click View, and then that playout controller would be an option that you would see there. So that's a little tip or a trick there. And actually that same trick works if you want to adjust your camera from within VidBlaster. You can hold down the Control and the Shift key and then right-click the camera module. And let me make sure I've got that right. And right-click. And then at the very bottom of that drop-down will be an extra menu item called Debug. And if you go to the Debug section, there'll be 4 different options, one of which is called Property Page, and that will take you to the driver page for that particular camera, and allow you to adjust the camera with using all the built-in GUI that came with the camera software. So that's just a little tip or trick. That's hold down the Control key, hold down the Shift key, and then right-click in the anywhere in the camera module. Yeah, it's really pretty cool and simple. Let's check here in the chat room and see if we've missed anything along the way, because the guys have been chatting up a storm, but they don't seem to be paying much attention to me. I guess that's all right. That's although somebody's talking about an awful broadcast, but they couldn't have been talking about me. That's right. And then they're talking about some capture cards and things like that. Okay. One of the questions that comes up in the chat room, somebody is asking about the Magewell line of capture cards. Are they supported in VidBlaster? Magewell is a company out of Taiwan that has probably in the last year, maybe a little more, come out with an increasing line of PC capture cards that will capture standard definition video as well as high definition video in a variety of formats. There's one card that will capture 4 ports of standard definition video and 2 ports of high definition video through HDMI, all on one card. That's really cool. There's another card that'll do 4 ports of HDMI input. All of these are by a company named Magewell, and they have a couple of distributors here in the U.S. If you Google Magewell, you can probably find them. And to my knowledge, all of those work well with VidBlaster. Now, the key for most of these cards is if the PC, the operating system, the drivers in the PC will see the card, then VidBlaster will be able to see the card. I'm being corrected here to say that the Magewells are made in China, not in Taiwan. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to offend the Chinese. For the most part, if your PC will see the card, then VidBlaster will see the card. There are a couple of exceptions. A phone call I had this morning from somebody who was trying to input 1080 60i, and it wasn't showing up in VidBlaster in the camera module. And the reason is because the Blackmagic drivers are a little, in my opinion, a little flaky. And in VidBlaster, you can't set it up for 1080 60i. You've got to set it up for 1080 30p, and then VidBlaster will see the card properly. But that's just a kind of a quirk with the Blackmagic drivers. But for the most part, VidBlaster will see whatever your PC will see. That is the key. And there's some utilities that you can use. Sometimes they come with the cards that will allow you to make sure that the cards are viewed by the PC before you add the extra layer of complexity that video production software like VidBlaster might add to it. especially if you're not sure that the card is going to is going to appear to VidBlaster the way that it's supposed to appear, a la the Blackmagic cards. Nice little discussion here in the chat room now about Taiwan versus China and mainland China, and apparently I have ignited an international firestorm over my inadvertent remark. But well, hopefully the flames will calm down a little bit on that one. So we're going to close up this segment here in just a second. As a recap, I did want to remind you about the Great VidBlaster Roundtable that's coming up October 15th, beginning at 3 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock in London, and 5 a.m. Thursday in Melbourne, Australia. It's going to have Martin Kay, Yana Kala, Andrew Seaborn, Alan Bunch, Jim Moline, Amnon Nissan, John Duvall, and I'm going to moderate that group. And I think it's going to be a lively discussion. We're going to talk about VidBlaster, past, present, and future. One of the questions that I think is on my question list is, if you could have anything for Christmas from VidBlaster, what would it be? What would you like to see from VidBlaster? And the question that goes along with that one would be, if there was any feature in VidBlaster that you didn't think was quite finished, and you'd like to see it finished, which one would that be? So if you've got some ideas on that, shoot them to me, Tom, at thatvidblasterguy.com, and we'll kind of get those into the mix. And then, again, the reminder that we're offering a 10% discount on anything VidBlaster between now and next Wednesday. Oh, and I did want to mention, while we're kind of doing this advertisement here, that we have added some new components and stuff to our accessories store, and that's over at easternshorebroadcasting.com. The accessory store is designed for folks that are starting out and don't want to spend a bunch of money buying the wrong stuff, which I've got shelves full of the wrong stuff. And these are things that I've personally tested and can vouch for as working the first time every time. We've added a few products to that this morning. That's at easternshorebroadcasting.com. Go to products and services, and then scroll down to streaming accessories, and you can see all the various cameras and mixers, green screens, microphones, all types of things that you might need to get started that we can kind of say, yep, they're good stuff, and they will work the first time out of the box. So that's it. That's a wrap. Appreciate you tuning in today. If you're joining us live, we hope you'll hang around for the second segment, Streaming Idiots. It'll be coming up here in just a few minutes. And if you're watching on YouTube, we hope you'll subscribe. And that way you'll get a notice whenever we whenever we put a new video up online. I'm Tom Sinclair, that VidBlaster guy. It's been my treat to be with you today, and look forward to seeing you again next time.